Growing awareness about climate change is putting a spotlight on sustainable food production and sprouting more opportunities for food tech companies here in Singapore. But experts are saying that premium prices as well as consumer mindset, well, that they might hamper the appetite for these greener foods. Vanessa Lim tells us more.
Scrambled, fried, poached. The list of ways to cook an egg goes on. But here's a new one. Eggs made from mung beans. This, along with an alternative for raw tuna and at least 7 other plant-based ingredients, could hit plates in Singapore as early as next year. The entry of new players comes on the back of the success of meat alternatives like Impossible Foods and Beyond Meat, which launched earlier this year. Unlike traditional veggie burgers, these patties have been manufactured to look, smell, and taste like meat. Some even bleed. But what do people make of these meats? And would they choose it over real meat? To find out, I show them a clip of how they're made.
It looks a lot like how they make like proper meat burgers. So like it's very manufacturing based, I guess. So there's no difference.
It's not look like food, look like sand.
If it's affordable and convenient, yeah, then maybe I might.
It definitely did not look appealing. It was really kind of gross.
But eating more plant-based meats could have a positive impact on the environment. Currently, food is responsible for about 1/3 of global greenhouse gas emissions, with meats like beef being the biggest culprit. But a recent study conducted in Singapore found that if consumers replace 1/4 of their red meat intake with plant-based meat alternatives, this could help to reduce their carbon emissions by about 7%. Statistics from the Singapore Food Agency show that meat consumption has been increasing over the past 10 years. Last year, over 360,000 tons of meat was consumed in Singapore. That's up more than 68,000 tons from a decade ago. And industry players say this opens up opportunities for plant-based alternatives.
And we see that the products are evolving to become friendlier to taste and in texture profile as well as cost. There is a growing demand from the Asian consumers related to plant-based meat and sustainably sourced foods. We believe that the growth rate will keep strong, if not even stronger.
Since March, we launched in 8 restaurants. We're now in more than 250 restaurants, and just in Singapore here in itself. And so that growth shows that, because the restaurateurs are seeing the demand and the excitement around Impossible, and so they want to have it on their menu.
But while demand for plant-based alternatives is high, so are prices. In supermarkets, a pack of 2 Beyond Meat patties costs about $14. That's about $7 per 100 grams. In contrast, the same amount of ground beef costs between $3 and $6 per 100 grams. As for Impossible Foods, its burger patties are only available in restaurants and hotels and could cost anywhere between $22 and $28. The premium prices aren't just putting a dent in customers' wallets. Over at this restaurant chain, 1/3 of the menu is meatless. None of the food items you see in front of me contain meat, or rather, real meat. The chicken rice you see over here was made with soy-based ingredients. And over here in the laksa, the seafood was made with plant-based ingredients. Today, these dishes are popular among customers, with plant-based burgers outselling beef burgers by about 10% across Privé's 9 outlets currently. But they ate into the profits initially.
It is a challenge when we introduce some of the items. They were actually more expensive than the meat that it was replacing. So what we've done is actually to subsidize the cost, and we took a little bit of a hit.
Industry watchers say growing consumer appetite and new players hungry to satisfy their cravings will help drive down prices, which are currently at a premium. One expert says it's due to the complexity of producing plant-based meat.
So you need to add a lot of additional ingredients to make taste like meat, look like meat. So all these additional processing steps will involve cost. Therefore, if we want to hit the mass consumer market, simplification may be the key, which will bring down the cost in the long run.
Singapore is now looking at cultivating alternative proteins, which will help to boost food resilience in the face of climate change. The country is investing $144 million in its agri-food industry to boost research and development so that it can meet its target of producing 30% of its nutritional needs by 2030.